I guess my message is simple to employers, and that is hire veterans, right? If a veteran is anything like they are a student in the workforce, you will not regret it. And my experience is that's the case. At UNCG alone, our veterans, our reservists, our active duty folks, they have a higher GPA, they have a higher graduation rate, and they have a higher retention rate than the average student population. I think those numbers are correct nationwide, but I'm not as familiar with those as I am at UNCG. And just for those of you who aren't maybe familiar with retention rate, that's simply the matriculation from freshman to sophomore. That's what universities use as retention. But what's more important to me is the GPA and the graduation rate. When I calculate graduation rate with my veterans, I do give them a couple of extra years, particularly because a lot of them are reservists or National Guard members, so they've had interruptions in their education, they've had to leave, which is even more impressive to me that they've had those interruptions in their entire life, and they still come back and they still finish that degree, and they still maintain a high GPA and finish near the top of their class. Professors love veterans, I think across the nation, but again, my experience being at UNCG, I get emails, phone calls, professors, instructors drop by all the time to tell me how much they love having a vet or a reservist or an active duty member in their class, because they sort of serve as the anchor to that classroom. They're a little bit older typically. If they're not, they're at least more mature. They have leadership experience. They bring a lot of life experience. They're very focused, they're very driven, and they're very goal-oriented. And if you guys have been in a college classroom anytime in the last 20 years, you probably know that that's not the typical profile of a college student. They have a lot of other things on their mind, oftentimes besides the class and the learning. But what's so impressive to me about veterans in a classroom and at UNCG is how willing they are to take care of other people. They take care of their own, for sure. We have a very, very vibrant Student Veteran Association at UNCG that was started by students and has been maintained by students. I'm the advisor for that group, and I do very little in that group. They come to me and ask me university policy questions sometimes, or they need reference to where they need to go on campus to find what they need. They run their own fundraisers to fund outings. They have speakers that come in and speak to veterans and other students on campus. And their organization is all-inclusive. They don't restrict it to just veterans or military or family members. Anyone at UNCG who's a student who is one of those, or just a supporter of the military, just wants to find out more, maybe wants to go in the military when they get out of college, they welcome them with open arms. They also take care of other students at UNCG. Oftentimes you'll see veterans leading up study groups in a particularly difficult course like chemistry or biology or calculus, because they know it's going to help them out, but it's also going to help out their fellow students. And I think that's something they directly take from the military, because if you learn nothing in the military, being a veteran myself, I can speak firsthand. If you learn nothing else in the military, it's take care of your people, and everything is a team effort. You do nothing on your own that doesn't involve other people, which really is the workforce. You may be a specialist, you may have a degree in this, that, or the other. You may be hired at that company to do a specific thing because of your qualifications, skill set, and credentials, but you're probably almost never going to be doing that just by yourself. You're at least going to collaborate with other colleagues either in your company, in your division, or across companies, depending on the field. So again, if what a veteran brings to the classroom, what their fellow students, be it veteran or not, say of them, and what their instructors say of them is any indication of what they are like in the workforce, it would be silly for an employer not to hire a veteran and not to give them preference over someone else who's just as qualified. And if nothing else, they've served our country. You know, as Kimberly Floyd said earlier, they have given limb and sometimes life in some form or fashion to serve our country on a volunteer basis. They definitely didn't do it to get rich. They did it because they want to serve the country they live in, the country they know is great, the one that's raised them. So I think the least we could do is give something back. Thank you.